Hello and what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Brutal Chaos. Thank you guys for showing all the love recently. Today we are going to be reacting to SCP-387 Living Lego SCP animation. I was recommended to check this out by Blue 1076, so man, major shout outs to him. Guys, I hope you enjoy the reaction. Thank you guys so much for showing all the love. Like I said, once again, I also stream on Twitch and I also show love to the Reapers of Fate YouTube. Guys, thank you so much. All the links will be in the description below. Let's pull this up here and check this out. I've never heard of anything about this. So we're going to just go in blind and we're going to check it out together. So let's go.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh boy.
After having noticed that they were animate, they excitedly conferred and began building several objects that they intended to use in battling each other.
Okay.
These included a transformer and a M1 Abrams tank.
Wow.
The children were instantly removed, at which point the creations began to fire and eventually destroyed each other. Hello everybody,
All right.
I'm TheRubber. Today we bring you
Started shooting
SCP
each other.
Foundation's safe class object SCP-387.
Make sure you show some love to the rubber. We'll leave their link in the
SCP-387, known
description
by
too.
the alias Living Legos, is a tub of Legos containing shapes found in normal commercially available sets, and ones not found in standard sets, such as circular wheels and prisms. It has no brand name, and every company interviewed by undercover agents thus far has denied ever making irregular Lego. When the tub is not full, either partially filled or almost emptied, the Lego will slowly duplicate themselves, stopping when the container is full.
What?
Similarly, when an amount of SCP-387 higher than the tub's capacity was placed upon the tub, it will shrink until the red tub was fully filled. The interesting property of 387 is that when constructed by a human hand, the constructions will animate themselves, performing activities based on their surroundings.
That's pretty
In
cool.
an experiment, a robotic arm was used to construct a car out of 387. It did not animate.
Wow.
This test was repeated with a human hand, at which point the car animated as usual. A dead hand from a recently dismembered agent was used, and of course, there was no response.
Wow.
The hand was then heated, which still provoked no response. It appears that 387 responds to a pulse, or some other detection of human life.
Okay.
Hence, according to the result of the experiment, if a Lego man, which is a man constructed using the provided humanoid parts, is placed within a car, it will begin to drive it. Further experimentation has revealed that the car,
This is crazy.
and indeed any complex machine, needs no internal engine or power source.
Hello.
The Lego people have some form of sentience, as they interact with each other
boy.
quite readily. However, if left over a period of time, the constructed people and buildings will evolve. They will take on occupations based on the buildings around them. Like, for example, some people will become firemen and use fire trucks if the corresponding objects are there. They will also use 387 to construct more things to expand their society. Humans can interact with them quite peacefully. But if a human becomes hostile to them, they will immediately cease all activity and become inanimate. This behavior was proved in one of the experiments. A small community of 387 was formed in a testing chamber. A plane constructed from normal Lego was placed to the side of the community. Over the next 3 hours, the following changes were observed. Several Lego men procured some equipment from SCP-387, heading over towards the plane.
Okay.
With incredible efficiency, the Lego men constructed what was, for all intents and purposes, a working airport.
Wow.
The specific pieces having been supplied by 387 without visible signal. Then a petrol tank zoomed over to the plane, apparently filled it with fuel, despite earlier observations that vehicles constructed from SCP-387 do not require fuel.
This is crazy.
The plane proceeded to literally take off, flying around the room at low speeds and altitude, seemingly to avoid crashing. More planes, of different make and design, were formed soon after.
They made one big airport.
Constructions of 387 have some form of understanding of the surrounding environment, and they are able to convert existing Lego to 387. SCP-387 was first found out by Agent H during a long train ride back to the city he lived in. Agent H discovered the tub containing SCP-387 behind the seat he was seated in, and began constructing a Lego man out of amusement. Several seconds later, it became animated.
Wow.
Agent H quickly disassembled the man and delivered the item to Site 19 for analysis, where it now remains. Following the discovery, the security tapes from the train were confiscated and destroyed before they could be reviewed. Due to the nature of this object and the almost non-existent harm it poses, it is stationed in a storage container in Site 19 with a standard lock. The red tub in which SCP-387 is contained does not possess any unusual properties itself, as it has been determined through testing. But SCP-387 will not duplicate itself unless at least a layer of it covers the bottom of the aforementioned container. A sheet is available for those wishing to utilize 387, and access will be revoked if it is not properly restored. Also, as further testing has revealed that it does not have any dangerous and unusual anomalies or features, this SCP has been in high demand for extended use. In the personnel testing, SCP-387 has improved morale and attitude by 87%.
What the heck?
As a result, Dr. Arch suggested that all personnel should be allowed to use it freely for recreational activities, and the request was later approved by the Foundation. However, SCP-387 should not be given to children under the age of 10,
definitely don't give it to
especially
kids.
if the aforementioned children are influenced by cartoons and television shows.
That's like every kid, bro.
Several young children were given SCP-387 and instructions to use their imagination. The children, who had their memories of this experiment removed, began constructing various objects. After having noticed that they were animate, they excitedly conferred and began building several objects that they intended to use in battling each other.
They're like, ooh.
These included a transformer or a M1 Abrams tank.
Okay.
The children were instantly removed, at which point the creations began to fire and eventually destroyed each other, though not after considerable effort.
Wow.
How the hell did these children gain knowledge of the workings of a M1 Abrams tank? I'm not responsible for cleaning out the mess those things make. If anyone is stupid enough to let children go at 387, I am not recommending an upgrade to Euclid, as the constructions did not fire whilst in the presence of humans. This has been tested with adults and proved just as correct, said Dr. Arch.
He got
In
mad at
another
that.
experiment, Foundation's personnel emptied the red tub containing SCP-387. Then, commercially available Lego was then placed in the tub for a minute. Constructed objects were inanimate and remained so. It is noted that the Lego placed within the tub also did not duplicate itself. Later, a single block of SCP-387 was placed within the red tub.
Okay.
It also does not replicate. More of SCP-387 is added until the bottom layer was covered, at which point it began to replicate itself quite rapidly until it had been filled. The 387 removed from the tub continued to work. According to this experiment, it appears that the red tub itself has no abilities by itself, and 387 will not duplicate itself unless in that particular tub. Perhaps this is a copyright mechanism that stops copies of 387 being made.
Probably.
Further experimentation is being tested.
It's
Once,
a gimmick.
a junior researcher, Carly, accidentally put some of her Mega Block figurines near SCP-387 and left the break room with senior research, Emily.
Okay.
When this happened, SCP-387's world began to go berserk. The village constructed of 387, hereafter known as Blocksville, felt something horrible coming. All of a sudden, Terminator Chaplain Dionys heard a scream in the distance.
Oh my
and saw
God.
a police motorcycle crashed into a pole. As he approached the crash site, he saw the motorcycle carry the remnants of Jack, horrifically mutated by the powers of chaos, attempting to lash out at him.
I'm gonna have to skip this. Sorry about
With
that, guys.
ease,
Here we go.
Dionys stomped down on the spawn's head, ending its pitiful life. As soon as he looked up, he saw a flight of mutants making their way through the streets.
Okay.
Hefting his Crozius and his Stormbolter, he stood in front of the mutants, banging his fist against his chest.
He
Face me,
said, "Bring it
and I may
on."
grant you your absolution in death. The mutants screeched and rushed him at once,
Okay.
while Dionys rushed forward, his Crozius alight in a killing blaze. he lifted his Crozius overhead and brought it down with the Emperor's righteous fury, utterly destroying the mutant's head. Beside him, Captain Adaris swung his hammer around, launching a nearby car at unholy speed and destroying a swatch of incoming mutants with the impromptu projectile.
These dudes
While
are
all
OP.
this was happening, Carly and Emily returned to find the break room in sheer horror. Carly let out a big sigh, donned her goggles, and grasped the knob handle, her clipboard ready to shield her from stray projectiles. It's cleanup time. At this moment, 387's world became still. Holy hands began to descend from the heavens, taking the mutants up and utterly destroying them. As quick as the hands took the enemy, it brought back those who were overcome, those who were unfortunate enough to have been forcibly warped. As the hands finally stopped the grand cleansing, one of its fingers reached down and gently stroked Dionys on the head. Dionys prays to the Emperor, for he forgives and protects. Adaris prays to their savior. Dionys, however, was still mentally recovering from having been personally blessed by the God Emperor herself. The researchers finally put the Mega Blocks away, sealing it in its container.
They see her as the God
chaplain
Emperor.
Carly touched had commissioned a giant golden brick statue of her, and the minifigs were giving it worship. Remember to check out my new animation channel, TheRubber Talks, where I share my life story.
Dude, that looks freaking crazy, man. That was a really cool animation. I really did enjoy it, guys. So I gotta get that YouTube Premium, so I'll have to deal with the advertisements here soon. So, guys, thank you so much for showing the love. Like I said, if you do, smack that like button. And like I said, thank you guys for subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content. Also, I stream on Twitch and show love to the Reapers of Fate YouTube. I would appreciate it. Like I said, all those links will be in the description below. And we will see you in the next video. Big shout out to Blue 1076. Make sure I got that right. Peace.